We talk about food, we talk about music, with musical dudes. Finger on the pulse, Snacky Tunes.
Hello and welcome to Snacky Tunes. I'm one half of your host, Terry Diabolic. Finger on the pulse, big shout out to Did Never Forget, who is out taking meetings and kicking ass in the city at the Ace and the Breslin. It's a beautiful day. beautiful November day here, and everybody's eating pizza. Every bird is outside, and I am a little jet lagged. I just got back from Napa Valley this morning, and a lot of rosé. I would say that I thought that something that was laughed at if you ordered out here on the East Coast is highly touted as special to tours and reserves only. So there you go, sparkling rosé. Look out for it. That and other trends coming up this Snacky Tunes, because we were joined by Michael Whiteman of Bauman Whiteman International Restaurant Consultants.
That'll do.
That'll do?
That'll do. Bauman Whiteman International Restaurant Consultants.
Yes. But for all those who want to Google, Bauman Whiteman will do the trick. So for those who don't know, Baum and Whiteman is a boutique trend and restaurant and everything food
Geniuses, yeah.
Geniuses. And you may know some of their restaurants. Well, why don't you say some of your restaurants?
Well, we've been in business for, I think, since shortly after the Civil War ended. And you'd know us best because we created Windows on the World in 1976. Mm-hmm. And then after some people tried to blow up the World Trade Center in 93, we rebuilt it and recreated it and ran it again until some lunatics flew a plane into the building. So you'd remember us for that. And we also redid and spent $26 million of David Rockefeller's money to redo the Rainbow Room.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, which we also ran for about a dozen years. But mostly we consult. We work around the world, and we create big projects and eat and drink too much. But it's somebody has to do it.
Somebody has to do it. You know, it's a tough life, and I'm glad to see somebody who's doing it so well. But what we're here to talk about today is with 2011 wrapping down. You have put out your annual trend report. And it looks like 2011 was another good year for food. And this is your report's both looking backwards and looking forwards, right?
Yeah. Well, things are getting better. The restaurant industry had a couple of years of really down months, like 36 consecutive down months. And they've just begun to turn the corner. So when people say things are getting better, they're getting better from a very low base. But they are getting better. And what we see is it getting better really at the top, where people are spending lots of money the way they used to. Mm-hmm. The truth of the matter is that all the people who had a lot of money before the economic collapse still have a lot of money.
Yes. But do you think that people now feel that they can spend that money?
Yeah. I think, and it happens in every recession in every country. People who have a lot of money feel a little ashamed of flaunting it for a while. Mm-hmm. But now they're outspending it, and interestingly enough, they're spending it in the new and fashionable places rather than the old standby, stuffy, fancy French places.
So steakhouses, those things out?
Steakhouses have been out for quite some time
right.
Because A, they tend to be boring, and B, they're really middle class.
Middle class?
They're middle class. They're middle class in their expense account.
Right.
And expense accounts have been cut terribly. No, I'm talking about the people who genuinely have money. If you're in the finance business, if you're in the insurance business, no matter where you are in the country, even if you're a banker, you've got money to spend, and you're willing to risk it. When I say risk it, I mean you're willing to go to places that are serving food that you're unfamiliar with, but you're not going to get hurt badly in the pocketbook because your pocketbook's fat.
Right. Now, is this something that applies just to the major markets? Like, some people say that New York, especially when it comes to food and culture money, exists outside of the normal American trend. But are you seeing this in other cities as well?
Yeah. I think this is true all across the country, because there are bankers all across the country.
Right.
No, I've been working in San Antonio and watching all of the new, innovative, not necessarily expensive, but new, innovative, first-class foodie places just packed.
Packed.
Yeah.
Now, what about the other end of the spectrum, the people who are struggling to make ends meet and things like that? I know that, Michelle Obama is really pressing for urban farming, things like that. And what do you see people like growing their own food, farmers markets now taking food stamps? How do you see that trend both backwards and forwards?
Well, let's talk about that other end of the market in terms of people first. If you're if you're on the verge of losing your house or your mortgage is underwater and you can't pay your bills, for sure you're not eating out.
Right.
And when your job is shaky, you just try to save every penny you can. So again, you're not eating out. I just heard this morning from the chairman of the board of Heinz Ketchup that 27% of the families in this country have zero disposable income. That means after you get through with heat, light, power, and shelter, and gas for your car, you have absolutely nothing left to spend. So there's a big portion of the country that's in real economic trouble.
Now, in this report, you're saying that restaurants, even in the traditional sense, are becoming less and less popular, and places like Walgreens or other stores like that are offering food to go.
Well, that's interesting. That's a very interesting trend, and it's very quiet. And if you only focus on the restaurant industry, you don't see this. But drugstores like Walgreens, or if we're talking about New York, Duane Reade, which is owned by Walgreens, the dollar stores, all the convenience markets, 7-Eleven, they're all adding food as fast as they can. You walk into a Duane Reade now in New York or a Walgreens in Chicago, and the first thing you see is a big refrigerated case full of sandwiches and salads. And if you're in Chicago, there'll be fresh fruit and vegetables too. These people are going after a lower end of the market, and they're going after a middle market that wants speed, convenience, and doesn't want to spend the time sitting in any kind of restaurant, even if it's a fast food place. And they're gobbling up large amounts of restaurant dollars and supermarket dollars.
Now, where does nutrition and health factor into this?
Well, that's an interesting question. Let's come back to Walgreens and Chicago. Walgreens is opening these food places as part of their drugstores and adding fruit and vegetables in Chicago into what they call food deserts. And we have a lot of them here in New York, too. Those are neighborhoods that are underserved or not served at all by supermarkets. So basically you get bodegas with maybe a banana and a lot of chips. And those are the neighborhoods where nutrition is the worst. So Walgreens is looking at that and saying, well, there's an opportunity here to put some food oasis in the middle of these food deserts.
Now, I know that you said that restaurants relatively are getting back up on their feet, but there are still, I would say, more empty restaurants, or restaurants that don't have as long as shelf life. And chefs are getting creative with coming in and doing certain stages at different restaurants, or as you say, wife swapping, but with restaurants. What are some of the more interesting collaborations or, I guess, crossovers that have happened?
Well, whenever there's a recession, you get a lot of empty restaurants, and you get a lot of chefs who don't have any jobs. They go hand in hand. We used to joke that every time a restaurant failed, another consultant was born. But that's changed recently. There's a phenomenon that's not confined to restaurants. It goes through all retail, and it's called pop-up shops. And these are shops that open in vacant storefronts for a day, a week, a month, 6 months, and then they disappear. And chefs around the country have looked at the fact that there are available restaurants and will open a restaurant for a week. And these are name brand chefs. These are chefs that had a following and lost their businesses for one way or another. And because of the advent of Twitter and all of that kind of communication, you can tell large crowds of people what you're doing next Tuesday.
Right.
So these are kind of pop-up, clandestine restaurants. Nobody knows about them except if you're on somebody's tweet list. And chefs will do one of these for a week, and then they'll move on for someplace else for a week. And it's a very interesting phenomenon because the people who go there think that they're really on the in, which is true. And chefs get to cook whatever they want to. They don't necessarily have to have a menu. You're coming to them for, call it the equivalent of a week-long house party.
And would you say that in this type of economic instability that menus are getting less, crazy and sort of just more back to roots, more sort of just conservative?
Everybody said that was going to happen because it happens in every recession.
Right.
And it did for about a year. No, I see chefs all over the country experimenting either with new cooking techniques or with all the new ingredients that they can get their hands on. The idea of experimentation and adventure came roaring back.
So you're saying the whole thing's about gourmet hot dogs, gourmet burgers, gourmet sort of comfort children food is going away?
Well, that's slightly different. The idea of the phenomenon of gourmet hot dogs and gourmet hamburgers has to do with the application of, let's say, fairly exotic ingredients on something that's generally mundane. And it's allowing people who ordinarily would have gone out for a fancy dinner, or let's say even a steak, to say, well, I can't afford the steak, but I'll get a hamburger and I'll get some shiitake mushrooms and some and some Gorgon cheese with walnuts on top of that on my hamburger, and poof, I've got a gourmet meal.
Right.
So, but that is part of the spirit of adventure that I just talked about, except it's at a lower price range.
Okay, I got you. All right, well, we're going to come back. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to listen to, I think, an appropriate song. Sam Cooke, Change's Gonna Come. More food trends coming up next. Listening to Snacky Tunes on heritageradionetwork.com.
The New England and New York farm families who own Cabot Cooperative are offering listeners a chance to win some of the world's best cheddar simply by calling into our network at 718-497-2128 or emailing us at info@heritageradionetwork.com. What a great way to start the holidays. We'll be picking a winner for the program 1 week from today. Cabot Creamery is a proud supporter of what Heritage Radio is all about.
In a little tent, oh, and just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. And I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Time that I thought I could last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Yes, it will.
All right, welcome back to Snacky Tunes. That was just Sam Cooke, Change Gonna Come. We're sitting with Michael Whiteman of Baum and Whiteman International Restaurant Consultants. looking backwards and forwards at the trends in food, and we were just talking about the economy, but let's get into the grub, the real meat, if you will. And one of the things you said to keep your eye on for next year is the sandwich.
Yeah. Sandwiches have always been popular, but they are getting over the moon. And partly for the same reason as the hamburgers we just talked about, because more and more interesting ingredients are finding their ways into hamburgers, into sandwiches. In addition to that, there's a big focus on ethnicity in sandwiches. So economically, they're a good deal. Gastronomically, they make your mouth light up. And there's a spirit of adventure in piling all these interesting ingredients on them. I'm particularly interested in semitas, which are hard to find here in New York. There's a couple of places that do it. But they're up and down the West Coast in California and, of course, Mexico.
And what is that?
A semita is a very elaborate Mexican sandwich that's likely to start out with the black bean spread on a loaf of bread and maybe a layer of avocados. And then maybe some jalapeno peppers, and then maybe something like white cheese that's kind of soft and melty. And on top of that, you get something fried and disgusting, like a chicken cutlet.
That sounds perfect.
And and it's got enough sauce and juice on it so that some of it will run down your arm, and it's great fun to eat.
Another Mexican dish that's popping up are paletas or popsicles.
Yep.
Which. I know that we're going into winter and that it's November, but it doesn't feel like it outside. But next summer, I think paletas are really going to explode.
We have them here.
We do.
There's wonderful ones in all the Mexican enclaves in and around Los Angeles, and basically what they are is fresh fruit, crushed fruit, ice pops. Think of it as the world's greatest popsicle, and if it's done well, you get really good fruit flavors without all the terrible sweetness that you get from the Good Humor Man. But you also get them, in many cases, chock full of chopped fresh fruit, chopped mangoes, chopped papayas, and sometimes even some chopped jalapeno peppers in them.
Yeah, that really, we were talking about the paletas that down in Nashville, and some of the best ones I had were the chocolate with the chili and the spicy and the sweet. And that mixed with the whole cool, like ice cold flavor is fantastic.
And the reason that specifically is happening is because we now have, as you know, a very large Mexican population in this country, and the people who were cooking for themselves in their neighborhoods have now blown out of their neighborhoods into general population areas, so that if you want a Mexican experience now, you don't have to go to El Torito.
Right.
And so they're serving their indigenous food. It's good stuff.
And it's delicious. Now, another ethnic cuisine that's gotten a bit of a reboot that had a bit of a bad red sauce or stereotype is Italian food. And Italian food is sort of back, and it's great because what I've always loved about it is it's four of the best ingredients you've ever had balanced together.
Yeah.
But it's going that and beyond.
Well, there was a period in this country where northern Italian food was the place to be. And that's because everybody felt that, like the pizza that you're eating right now,
yes,
with tomato sauce and mozzarella, was kind of déclassé. Until everybody realized that the food from the South is healthier. It's true in every country. The food from the South is healthier. So we've got olive oil, we've got tomatoes, we've got fresh cheese, we've got basil.
Right.
And we don't have butter, cream, lard, and all that other fat that all the doctors say causes your arteries to slam shut. So that's one reason. And the other is that, eventually you rediscover what really tastes good.
Right. And speaking of Southern food, you said grits are coming onto the breakfast plate. No longer just a side item, but going to become the star of all breakfasts?
Well, it's not even just breakfast. Yeah, we're seeing grits on breakfast plates all around the country, but we're also seeing grits replacing other starches on plates for dinner. They become rather fashionable, and one of the reasons, which is kind of crazy to me, but one of the reasons is that people have become enamored for no particular reason with no gluten diets.
Right.
There is a portion of the population that has celiac disease that can't go anywhere near gluten. If you don't have celiac disease, there's no reason not to eat gluten. But people have latched onto this as something like a health trend. So, instead of having pasta, you can have a order of grits on your plate.
Oh, yeah, that is delicious. Well, Michael, one last question. We'll go with the nightcap. What are the new trends for cocktails? I know they're blowing up everywhere, but what flavors, what spirits, what are we going to see?
You're seeing more and more bartenders making their own bitters, making their own infusions, flavoring their own vodkas, and they're all on the prowl for the next crazy ingredient to add to a cocktail. I'd go back to the question you asked about paletas.
Yes.
And look at the kinds of fruits and flavors that are in the paletas and imagine how they would now be in somebody's wildly imaginative cocktail. The other thing that's happening, which is kind of interesting, is, starting several years ago, bartenders graduated into becoming mixologists.
Right.
Well, there's so many places opening fancy-ass bars that we're running short of mixologists. We're going to have to resort to bartenders again.
Oh, no. I would... If I don't have the person pouring me drink wearing suspenders, bow tie, and, at least a couple of combs in the back pocket, then I don't know if I want to drink.
Yeah, but but they're not using the old standard bar mixes.
No, they're not. It's now turning into a rivalry of do I have another starter or do I have another cocktail, and it's getting to be about the same.
In some areas, by the way, there's a bit of a backlash to this because it takes so goddamn long to make a drink.
No,
drop by drop by drop by drop, that you might have to go out and get a shave while you're waiting for your next cocktail.
I think it's all things culinary. It's that people have gotten used to such a grab and go aesthetic that once things really take a long time and see what it really takes to make something proper, you go, wait, what have I been eating and drinking so far?
Yeah, I know, but you can watch grass grow while you're
That's
watching
true.
your cocktail being made.
Well, that's why you got to get the bourbon first and the cocktail second. So anyway, Michael, thank you so much. The website is BAUM, BAUM, Whiteman, WHITEMAN.com. You have all your trends and everything up from years past.
They're all there.
I would recommend going back and seeing the shift over the years. And anything else you want to toss out to the public?
Yeah, after you go back and look at all this, please don't email and tell me how wrong I've been.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. Congratulations to the list, and I'm sure we will have you back again to talk about future trends.
Got a deal.
All right, so I'm Terry Diabolic. Again, shout out to DJ Never Forget in the city. We got the Suckers coming in live. They're finishing off their pizza. Big shout out to Roberta's, Jack Inslee, Rec Tech, our producer and engineer. And got a couple of tracks from you coming up.
change the boys say it's too much, it's no fun. The sun's almost done and I miss you. Did you hear me
That was just Kisses with the song Kisses. And before that was Maserati. I forgot the name of the song, but Maserati are awesome. And they have a new album out. And big shout out to Jerry in our hearts always. Anyway, we are joined in studio by the wonderful and scruffy Suckers. Welcome, boys.
Hello.
I would put the microphones closer. Yeah, there we go. All right, so Suckers are via Connecticut, Brooklyn, now living in Brooklyn. You all grew up near each other, right? Or most of you?
Yeah, well, two of us are cousins, Austin and Quinn. And we grew up right down the street from each other in Stony Creek, Connecticut.
Awesome.
And Pan grew up in
Madison, Connecticut.
I grew up in Wallingford.
Awesome. So on the ride over, you guys were talking about heading home for Thanksgiving. What's Thanksgiving look like at the Suckers table?
Looks like a lot of like baby foods.
Everything, we mash up everything.
Yeah, looks like a lot of baby foods. Like you don't really need teeth to eat anything.
Different colors.
We like to use straws.
Colors, yeah.
Sweet potatoes.
We like to use straws, hence the name Suckers.
Sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes. Yeah.
Just all the normal fixins?
And
yeah, like anything you would find at like Cracker Barrel.
At the Aiken
It's all just mashed up into like
Gerber's turkey.
Yeah, anything you could suck through a straw.
Now, do any of you get in the kitchen, start cooking, help out?
No.
We help carry food to the table occasionally.
Yeah, we're like a busboys.
You guys are still sitting at the kids' table.
Yeah.
Kind of, actually, yeah.
So you guys have been out on the road a whole bunch. You guys have been playing off your new album. How's it been putting out the album, hitting the road, doing the tour?
It's been great. We just got back from Europe with Yesayer. We were on tour all across the U.S. with Menomina before that. And then, I don't know, we've been just about everywhere in the States the past, few months? I don't know.
Yeah. We've been around the world.
Been around the world. All right, well, let's talk about the tour, more being around the world, where you guys have eaten like that. Let's get into a song. How's that sound?
Great.
Okay, awesome. What's up first? What do we got? What's the first jam?
Black Sheep.
Black Sheep.
Yeah.
Also,
Acoustic.
Acoustic. All right, so you're listening to Suckers live here on Snacky Tunes, Heritage Radio. Big shout out to Cabot, the cheese, the cheddar, the dream, the world.
It's great cheese.
Great cheese.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, here you go. Suckers live.
What if the man I just give it away? Fever has broken over the first and what lies and sin. It's time to rehearse 'cause you're honest. I mean it. Yeah, honest man, I won't believe you again.
Set it on fire, fingers light, live wise. Like blowing on my hair and playing truth or dare. Well, that's a pretty little get up you got on tonight. I'd like to see you around your ankles while we scratch and bite. Something's got the best of you. Let it get the rest of you.
Showing and tired, running around. Everyone's merry, you're 6 feet in the ground. Water, and you need it. Yeah, you want it, but man, I just give it away. New York got part of everybody's a girl. And I think I am it for the back of the door. And you're honest, and you mean it. Yeah, you're honest, but man, I won't believe you again. Set it on fire and burn it away. Set it on fire and burn it away. 'Cause you're honest, and you mean it. Yeah, you're honest, but man, I won't believe you again.
Pantyhose, run your foot, it's all undone. While your mouth's always suggesting things that sound like it's fun. But I'm a little skeptical about the way this has gone. 'Cause you're acting suspicious, and man, I doubt that you know that maybe something's got the best of you. Let it get the rest of you.
Woo! Suckers. Well, one got to clap. I mean, it's imagine if we still had the effects button. Awesome. So it's great. So you guys have been. Let's go back a little. 2 years ago, you guys sort of came out with, I would say, a home run. You know, you guys didn't come out sort of. You didn't really whimper into the music game. You guys came out. You guys had, Get Your Body Moving, big song, CMJ, South by Southwest, Darlings, depending on which time of the year and which festival you're at. And so now here you are, been the Darlings, had the hit single, records out. What's life like now for you guys?
It's pretty much
Babes and money.
Yeah.
Yes, and cars.
Lots of cars, fast cars, yeah.
Yeah.
GHB.
But I mean, how do you guys find that, like, now that you guys have, like, you're in the career, you guys have a lot of recognition, what do you got, how does it feel as a band?
Feels great. Feels like, I don't know, it doesn't feel
I feel like
that
we're
much
always
different.
we're always
we're always still hustling.
we always feel
though.
the same.
Yeah.
We always want to do better.
We just want to be modest dudes.
We're always just playing our A game.
Yeah. Has the food gotten better now that you guys have been...
Well, we went to Europe and we had some really exquisite cooking in... Where was it? In Belgium. I remember.
Yeah.
At Shell's mom's house.
Yeah.
And Shell... Yeah, we've just been all around Europe and they kind of cater to you more and they give you good foods when you're going there.
Well, what did you guys have in Belgium?
I just remember like a sweet potato soup that was delicious.
I didn't have that, but it was kind of like a huge buffet.
Yeah.
Well, it was like someone who actually knew how to cook.
Yeah.
Cooking like fish and like.
It was just it was
I
a
don't know,
huge venue
if you
that
get served vegetables, like it's just pretty exciting.
What
Yeah.
did what
Those
did
are those are generally missing.
Yeah, it's usually
Shells
just
would-
a meat and bread type of situation on the road.
Yeah.
Well, we just got a big
most of the time?
big chunk of change from Taco Bell now, so we can spend up to $500 on Taco Bell.
That's that gordita money, right?
Yeah.
That's the dream.
Chalupas.
Oh yeah, chalupas. So, so do any of you cook in the band, or have you guys cooked on tour? Had any mishaps of cooking on tour that you want to share?
Ryan has his own little kitchen in the Nair Blair in the back.
Back of the van.
Well, what's your kitchen like back there?
It's not refrigerated.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of leftovers. There's a lot of Capri Sun, a lot of Nature Valley bars,
Yeah, a lot of warm meat,
maple
and,
syrup, maple syrup.
Maple syrup is a staple.
warm meat, moldy cheese.
Yeah.
So all the good fixings that give the tour van that proper smell,
Yeah.
Fragrance.
Yeah.
fragrance. We'll
Yeah.
use fragrance.
Yeah.
Fragrance is like an extra $20. Smell is just you go. What's that? All right, so let's rip another song. What do we got? What's the next jam?
Roman candles.
Awesome. All right, cool. So this is Suckers' second song, live on Snacky Tunes. Big shout out to Cabot. Cheddar cheese, it's delicious, and Suckers approved, right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Suckers live on Snacky Tunes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
set of hands to help. Another set of hands to help me clap. Thanks, Paul. Always a pleasure.
Got a little Paul Hanley in the room.
Little Paul Hanley. You know, the last time I saw Paul Hanley was when I was extremely hungover, trudging from the chocolate show, and he was out like jogging through the center of New York. It was we were in such two different places. It was amazing. That was awesome. That was great. And what was the name of that song again?
That was called Roman Candles.
Awesome. And off the album?
That's off Wild Smell, yeah.
Awesome. So I know that you guys just did a video for A Mind That I Knew, but it wasn't just a video, right? It was
4 videos.
4 videos. And talk about that, about putting out 4 videos and how they all relate to each other and why you guys wanted to do that.
Well, we were just trying to figure out what to do for a video, and
wildly different concepts each.
Yeah, someone suggested that maybe we just all do 4 separate ones, and that way we wouldn't have to argue about whose idea would be that we should work on together. But then it just seemed like a fun way to like kind of change it up from the regular like one band, one video, one song thing. And you know, I think also a good way to get it out of our system. And next time we have a video that's being worked on right now that this is like kind of the opposite of that philosophy.
Is it all of you just hugging each other in one room with one shot?
Yeah, this is like just like us holding hands running through a field for like 4 minutes.
That's actually a really great video idea.
Topless.
Topless? Ooh. Covered in...
I have tape over mine.
From the belly button up.
Dandelion oil.
Tasteful.
Yeah.
So what's the future hold for you guys? I know you guys put out the album, but I imagine you guys are working on new songs, back in the studio a little bit.
Well, we just got back, and first we're going to have Thanksgiving. And then we're gonna go play some shows.
Christmas.
Then we're gonna have Christmas. But yeah, we're working on new songs.
So what's the writing process like for you guys? Is it all collaborative? Is it a grain starts here, someone plants a seed over there? How does it work?
It's pretty collaborative. I mean, we kind of all just show up at our studio at the same time and go.
Not always at the same time.
Well,
but.
Sort of at the same time, and you know. Everything starts from just improvising, and then
we do big jam sessions,
and then cherry picking from those jam sessions. But it's kind of an unusual way of working, I think.
Yeah,
it's you know, not like someone writes a song and then like brings it to the band.
Yeah,
or anything like
it's
that.
just pretty organic.
It's very organic.
And what's the snack/drink situation when you guys are in the album writing mode?
No food.
No food.
No
it's
food,
very austere.
Starving artists.
Starving artists.
Just 4 locos.
Oh, you better get them while you can.
While you can, yeah.
That was a pun, by the way.
I used to be big on Sparks at practice, actually.
You did.
Yeah, Sparks. I mean, it's a matter of time. As soon as you start seeing any of those drinks on CNN, like some reporter holding them like it's a loaded gun, you know it's a matter of time to go and stock up on those. But I think it's just New York, right? I mean, still...
Well, I think it's banned in a few states.
You can import them.
Michigan also.
Yeah.
So
now New York, and then I don't know.
Why is it?
I don't know where it's legal.
Like Sparks or something.
Because Sparks isn't what it used to be.
Sparks had to change their recipe.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So in addition to going on tour and all that for next year, you guys are going to open a bootlegging Four Loko sort of run?
Yeah.
Little pipeline, hop the path.
Yeah, I've also been watching Boardwalk Empire, so I know about the whole prohibition game.
All right, that's right. We'll go up the Hudson.
Yeah.
We'll go 50-50.
Yeah.
Who wants to be Nucky? You?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Awesome. So let's do a little inventory. If I want to find you guys on MySpace, where do I go?
MySpace.com/suckers. Pretty easy.
Yep.
And if I want to get the album and the name of the album and all that jazz?
It's put up by French Kiss Records. It's called Wild Smile, and you can get it anywhere, I think.
At your local CD store or online?
CD store.
And you can also download
record store.
I'm going to Strawberries and the coconuts.
Yeah,
Sam Goody's.
Actually, it's definitely at Sam Goody's next to the Dollar Sunvolt Records. And then Twitter. Final.
Twitter. Suckers with 3 S's in the front, 3 S's in the back.
Suckers.
Were you just putting different combinations of S's until one hit?
Yeah. Well, I wanted it to be somewhat symmetrical.
Okay, yeah, that's probably better. All right, so that's Suckers.
And then we have a website called suckersmusic.com where you can actually download the record.
Awesome. And you said you guys are playing some dates in Connecticut, right?
Yeah, we're playing a couple college dates. I don't know. I think they're actually only for students. But if you're a student at Wesleyan or Connecticut College,
or can pretend to be,
or if you can have a fake student ID,
and then we're
playing on the 2nd and the 3rd at Wesleyan and then at Connecticut College.
And the rider is just vegetables and Four Loko, right?
It's mostly
Yes.
Awesome.
Veggies and Four Loko.
Yeah.
All right, so let's tag it on out. Let's finish the show with a bang and song. I want to thank the Suckers. Want to thank Michael Whiteman. Want to thank Jack Inslee and Rectech for producing engineering. Cabot Cheese for being the best cheddar and the official cheese of the Suckers Tour Van Kitchen. And Roberters for serving us great food. What's this last song?
It's called Martha.
All right, so here we go. Suckers. This has been Snacky Tunes. I'm Tay Diabolic. Shout out to my brother in arms, DJ Never Forget, who's holding it down the city. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.
Don't say that you would have it any other way, 'cause it's a pretty good day to let it get back to you.
It pays, but not enough to make you stay. It lost all its cachet. Now you're dancing on your own. Martha, don't be long. Don't be long. You're gone.